What's up, everyone? It's Max here, Muscle World. Now, if you just had a notification say that I was going live and it disappeared, I do apologise for that. I messed up. I didn't put it in the correct setting, so it displayed slightly strangely. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick live video. Really, it's not going to be a workout. It's just going to be me yapping and just connecting a bit really, because it's been a while since I've done a live stream. It's been a while since I've really kind of spoken to anyone. Ranger, how are you, mate? Good to see you. Nice to see a few people joining. I am going to have to put my glasses on and off every now and then because I can't read the messages, but coming through without squinting. You don't want to see my ugly mug that close up. So yeah, that's why. Hi, thanks for joining us, guys. So it's been a while since I really kind of connected with anyone on here. It's been a while since I did a live stream where I've not just been kind of just doing some kind of workout or anything. So I thought, I used to do these quite regularly. I think about once a week, I do a live stream and answer a load of questions that I've received on videos over the week. Anyway, so I thought I've got a few questions now that I've been asked. I get asked all the time. I'll answer these now. If you've got anything for me, just pop it in the comment section. Just if you've got anything you want me to answer, if you've got any questions you think I might be able to help with, then I will, and I'll go ahead and answer them. And one's actually just popped up there. Let's just have a look. I kind of know how to work these. Would you accompany me to a concert? Tim, depends where the concert is, mate. If it's nearby, yeah. At the moment, unfortunately where I live at the moment, we're in lockdown. I can't even leave the area. I can't socialise with anyone, so I'm just enjoying being a bit of a hermit at the moment. Actually, it's quite fun trying to keep away from people. Just working on my fitness. You see, luckily I've got a lot of gym equipment here behind me now, so keeping me in shape. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, Tim, if you ever want me to go to a concert, then yeah, we can do that. That sounds like a laugh. We'll certainly do that. Well, actually, there's a few questions coming in now. I'll bang through these, and I've got a couple on the list then, and I'll answer those. But the live questions coming in now are certainly more important because you're there now, and you're asking me these questions, so I would rather answer them now. So that one, did I miss being in the Royal Marines? And yeah, to be honest with you, I've answered this in a video before where I talked about what it was like coming out with the military and how the grass wasn't always as green as kind of it was made out to be. So it's one of those, it's like love-hate almost. Like, I did really enjoy it. I've got very, very fond memories of it. I would love to, if I could go back in time and have my time again, being a 19-year-old, 18-year-old as I was when I joined, I would 100% do everything again in that respect. And if I did do it again, I wouldn't have left when I did. I would have stayed in, a little bit longer and tried to get a bit more out of it. As it stood, I didn't do that. So I've got some real good memories. On the flip side of it as well, though, there was other things about it as well. You didn't have as much kind of freedom to do what you wanted. You were owned by them, and I'm a bit of a wild card, as you say. So sometimes I like to do my own things. You probably tell by the content of my videos is I don't always do the same thing. I like to just go off and do random things, which I wouldn't be able to do half of that if I was in the Marines. Guys, I'm just going to adjust this light in a second. Just bear with me. There we go. That's better. Look, realised then that I had a bit of a black eye. I wasn't sure if you thought I was a pirate or something with a black eye. But I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I do miss it. But for me, it's more of a memory kind of thing than anything else. So thank you for the question. Xander Mort, has the military and in particular Royal Marines changed attitude and approach to mental health and helping soldiers? Has the military, I don't quite understand that one. Has the military and in particular Royal Marines changed attitude? Oh, got you, yeah. I don't know. Definitely, if you look back, years and years ago, before, way before my time, before, World War II sort of thing, they didn't really recognise what it was. They didn't have a clue what it was. But what you find is every time there's a conflict, every time there's something happens, they study it. So the people come back, the soldiers go off, they experience horrendous things, and then they come back. they're able to kind of, the doctors, the scientists, the psychologists, so they actually learn off every single person. So they're not only treating people, they're also studying them as well. So it sounds like quite a harsh thing as well, but you're almost like a guinea pig. So every time there's going to be a war or a conflict, they're actually going to learn more about what is happening to people's minds, and they're going to look for ways to kind of try and improve people through training, through trauma risk management, which was actually invented by the Royal Marines, and it's called TRIM training. I think trauma risk management. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's been a while since I left. But there's just some different techniques. It's like a buddy technique in terms of managing mental health and combat stress, PTSD, etc. And they're actually, the Royal Marines actually pioneered that. And what you found is that other agencies like police, the fire service, the other branches of the military actually use this technique now. So what you find is PTSD exists, mental health problems exist as a result of conflict and things that are going on, and the things the soldiers are being asked to do. But what happens is they learn from it, and they learn from positive things, but also from bad things as well. Like when you go to conflict and things like that, there's the decompression times and I'm waffling a bit, Yeah, so they give you time to decompress, because what they don't want to do is just send you straight back from a hot zone straight into civilian society, because you can have all the problems going on. The idea is I remember, I think it was a Falklands conflict, like the Royal Marines, they sailed back on the boats, on the ships, and I think other army regiments just flew back. And from what I heard, bear in mind, I don't really know if this is true or not, but from what I heard was that there was less kind of suicide rates with the guys who sailed back than the ones who actually flew back, and the kind of belief was that was because they had time to talk about what happened and get things off their chest and things like that, and kind of the brain computes it. Long term, I don't know, but I think that they are getting better and they are learning with every kind of case of it that happens. But I mean, it's not gonna, it exists. It's always going to exist. There's always going to be problems when things happen. The people are always going to have problems. It does seem to be getting worse, but I don't know if that's a result of conflicts are different now, or if people are just different now. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know, but I do think that they are putting investing more money into it, and it seems to be recognised a lot more now, and there seems to be a lot more of a kind of, you can talk about it kind of attitude. And there do seem to be a lot of people on the agencies, charities, that are trying to help each other. So I do think it is better. Answer your question there. So I kind of waffled it quite a bit there on that one. Right, okay. Thank you, Xander. Okay, Surash Moghadam. All right, mate, it's been great watching videos recently. The RMV, BGT, sort of virtual pre-joining fitness test, and the Gurkha stuff too. Thank you so much. Now, I've actually been, like I did with the virtual pre-joining fitness test, I've actually been kind of challenged to redo that Gurkha test again. So what I'm going to do in a few weeks' time is I'm going to do a little bit of training for it and give it a go. At the moment, I'm really enjoying doing my weights again, because it's been a while since I've had a squat rack, barbell and things like that. So I'm really enjoying actually doing that training. So give me a few weeks to enjoy that, and then I'll do a little bit more kind of specific training, and I'll give the Gurkha test a go. Warming up, 40 questions about leggings and yoga pants. Yeah, plenty of that going on. Although not at the moment, actually, because like I said earlier, we're in lockdown and I'm on my own. Well, actually, I've got a girlfriend, but you're not going to be seeing her in that. When did you start working out, and is training in the military hard? That's from KO Jokers. I first started training in 2003, something like that, 2003. 2002, whatever. It was when I was at school anyway, 2002, 2003. It was a bit of a punk band actually. I started off doing little dumbbells and things like that. Like this. Started off using dumbbells like that. They were my first bits of fitness equipment. Not that specific dumbbell, but I had an identical set that I bought from Argos for like a couple of quid. So I started off in the house with those. I used to go circuit training with my mum at the local leisure centre, so we would do a lot of circuit training there. Really enjoyed that, got my fitness up, started going running as well, got myself a pull-up bar, and I enjoyed that as well. The training I was doing then was predominantly just to kind of look fitter and get fitter and be in better shape. But then what happened then was I decided that I wanted to join the military. My fitness was already there anyway, so I then progressed and got myself fit for the military. Was military training hard? It was. I think it was particularly because I didn't really know what I was doing with my own training. So it was kind of like a shock to go from doing, the odd run here and there, a few dumbbells with light weights, and do circuit training and stuff like that, to go into the real intense stuff that we had to do there at Limestone. So I think it kind of opened up, it stepped up a massive level in terms of what I thought intensity was. So that increased massively. But I mean, looking back, I've done harder things since leaving. It wasn't that, it was hard, but it was doable. It wasn't impossible. Nothing impossible about it. So many people do it every month. So yeah, it was tough, but doable. And I'll just probably leave it at that, to be honest with you, rather than go into too much detail. Tough, but doable. Thank you for that question. Whoa, we've got loads here. Right, Jack, what is your best and worst experience of your time in the Marines? Oh, best and worst experience. That's a tough question. I gotta think about that. Best and worst. I genuinely can't really think of a moment when I thought this is the best moment. I think what a good moment was when when you go through training and you complete training and then you go into your unit, you're kind of treated like a bit of a idiot, to be honest. You get picked on, you get the sprog, you get the sprog routine, and I had that for a while. And I think it was kind of when I realised that I wasn't the sprog anymore, and that I was kind of quite established within the unit and the team, and a good set of friends. I was in a good team, and I was just, we're going on some good jobs and good exercises, and I just kind of knew everything that was going on. I think that was probably the time when it was, for me anyway, that it was a good moment. I was in a happy place, I was in a good place, I had a good base, I had a lot going on in terms of what I wanted to do outside, inside, and I had a good equilibrium. Obviously, that's a good time. Worst times? I mean, you have your hardship moments, you're in training, or when I probably had a few bad exercises. Yeah, I had a bad exercise where I did really badly, and actually, yeah, I think that's probably the worst. Yeah, we had an exercise up in Scotland, and for some reason I just didn't perform on that exercise, and I looked like a bit of a plonker, and I just started a new team as well. So I think that's probably the worst moment, actually, yeah. Yeah, so we just started a new team. We went out on a 3 or 4 day exercise up in Scotland, and I don't know, I just didn't perform at all. I was given a piece of equipment I'd never been trained on and expected to use it, and I just couldn't really get to grips with it, and so I just didn't make a good example of myself, or didn't make a good impression of myself for that team then. I can make up all the excuses in the sun, but I didn't have a good exercise at all then. So that was probably the worst moment for me, actually. And I think I felt that I let myself down in that one, was the other part of that. Hope that one's answered your question. Thank you very much for that. Alright, thanks, Jack. Okay, Ranger. How can I get heavier? Because I'm trying, but I have a fast metabolism. I'm 5'2", I weigh 50 kilograms. No matter how much I eat, I still remain the same. Yeah, that's quite a common thing, actually, that a lot of people, they call them hard gainers. Well, that's what they used to call them anyway. I'm not sure if they still call you that. Basically, you struggle to eat, you struggle to get the amount of calories and put the weight on. You've just got to eat. I know it sounds cliche, you just got to eat more and more and more, and make sure that you are consuming more than you're actually burning. Like I said, you've got a fast metabolism, your basal metabolic rate might be quite high. Mine's high as well. Mine's like 3,000 calories, my basal metabolic rate, off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something like that. So that means the basal metabolic rate is, if you just imagine you stayed in bed all day, did absolutely nothing, that's how many calories your body needs just to kind of function. So obviously, if you're doing work or going for a walk, all that's going to add on top of it. So you're looking like you're going to be eating a lot more. So for me to put on weight, I need to eat like 4,000, 5,000 calories in it. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's been times when I've had to eat 7 meals a day. I wanted to get to 17 stone. I was eating 7 meals a day, big meals, and I'm working 10 to 12 hour shifts as well, busy jobs, and I'm trying to eat these meals and cook these meals, and yeah, it's stressful. But if that's what you want to do, if you want to put on weight, that's what you've got to do. You've got to turn around and say to yourself, right, I need to consume the calories, but you need to find a way to make it manageable for you. Everyone's different. Everyone's got different circumstances. Everybody's got different life commitments and things like that. You've probably got work. Work generally takes up a lot of time, family commitments, things like that. So if you've got a job where you just can't eat, like I've had jobs where, you start work at like 5 o'clock in the morning, you can't eat till 12 o'clock. So straight away then, you're going 7 hours without eating anything. So I'd end up having a massive breakfast. I'd get up and it'd take me 2 hours to eat my breakfast because I would eat 2,000 calories for breakfast and then get to work, and then I'd have another 1,000 calories or so then for my lunch then, which I'd wolf down as quickly as I could. Ideally, it wouldn't work that way. I'd break it up, have a smaller breakfast and a meal then a few hours later, and so on throughout the day. That'd be the best thing to do, but you've got to work it out around yourself. Another tip that I like, and it's something that I used to do when I really started putting on weight, because I used to be quite skinny. I used to be quite small. I've had a reasonable frame, but I used to be quite kind of lean. I wanted to fill out a bit, but what I did was I was drinking a pint of milk with every single meal. So I would make sure that in my meal I could have a good solid meal. My chicken, my potato or pasta or rice, whatever, and a bit of veg and things like this. But then after each meal, religiously, without fail, I would get a pint of milk, whole milk, and I would down it every single time. And it was just that consistency there. I did put on a bit of weight. I started filling out. I had a good weight training program that I was doing. I was doing lots of squats, lots and lots of squats, because I wanted to put on weight, particularly on my legs. That did actually work. I found that did help. I didn't put massive amounts of weight on, but I put a noticeable amount on my legs. So I would say that would definitely be a good option for you to explore. Obviously, some people are lactose intolerant or whatever, but I would say it's a nice easy option. Just drink plenty of milk or a protein shake, something like that. But you want something that's got higher calorie content. But be aware as well, you're not eating too much sugar and processed foods as well. Right? So be careful. Try and be healthy with what you're doing as well. Because putting on weight, there's a quest to put on weight, but then I've experienced it as well, where I've wanted to put on so much weight and it's been at the expense of everything else. I used to get out of breath getting up the stairs. So it's kind of like trying to find that thing. When I got to about 17 stone, like I said, I really wanted to, but I was so unfit. I was really unfit. I think everyone's got this kind of natural sort of limit, or this natural kind of ideal kind of area where they should be, where it's kind of perfect for them, their optimum, that's the word I was looking for, their optimum kind of weight. I think everyone's got that. For me, I think it's around about 13 or 14 stone. So I'd have to lose quite a bit of weight to get to that. But when I've been at that weight, I've been really fit, being fit. Your heart and your lungs are going to be able to pump blood around your body and things like that as well. So I think everyone's got that optimum weight. So be aware about that. If you start putting on too much weight, you might struggle with your running and things like that. But it depends on you. So it depends on you and your goals as an individual. But good luck with your weight, putting your weight on as well. And be aware it does take time. It takes time and consistent effort. That's the other thing you need to be aware of as well. It doesn't just happen overnight with regards to putting on weight. Okay, thank you so much for that question there. Right, Ranger, hope that helped you. Right, Michael. Oh yeah, got 2 questions coming up for you. Hang on, let's just get the Tom. You just beat you to it, Tom. Sick channel, thank you very much. You watch all the vids. How hard is a theory work test in training, e.g. like map reading? Well, a lot of people struggle with that, to be honest with you, because you get 2 types of people that, in my opinion anyway, you get 2 types of people. You go, some who are really, really fit, and they're able to run forever and do loads of press-ups, loads of sit-ups, and they're just really fit. But then you get the ones that were really clever as well, but then they might struggle with that, and then these guys might struggle with that as well. Nobody's perfect, nobody's good at everything. So it depends on you, really. Some people just get it straight away. Some people don't, because there's calculations and things you need to do. Like you need to do triangulation of points, because what they'll do is they'll just drop you off in a helicopter, literally in the middle of nowhere, and they'll say, right, 5 minutes, you've got to tell me, you've got to give me a grid reference on the map of where you are. And then you've got to get your protractor out and you've got to look for points and you've got to work and triangulate things and bring back bearings to work out exactly where you are. Some people struggle with that. Some people struggle with pacing, where you've got to march a certain distance, and in your head you've got to be counting your footsteps pretty much to work out the distance of where you're going. So that one checkpoint you've got to do is a certain distance. You've got to know, because in the dark you can't have torches and things like that, so you might not be able to see landmarks. But you've just got to know that if your compass is pointing that way, as it is on the map, you know that you've got to walk 1.3 kilometers, and you know exactly how many paces that is in your head. You've got to count the paces to get to that position. Some people struggle with that. I think the main thing I struggled with it really was that, and a lot of people struggle with this, is you're so tired in training. So I don't know if they still call them it, but they used to call us nods. That's what the training team used to call it. The reason why is because you're so tired, you're nodding off all the time. So what would happen is you'd be up late all night, you'd be getting ragged around all day, and then you get to sit down in the classroom. Now that sounds quite good. That sounds like, oh, there's a break, it's nice. But what happens is your body is so kind of constantly up there all the time. As soon as you sit down, you just go like that, it just shuts off. And you know, your brain's trying to focus on things. And I've got my notepad, it's in a drawer somewhere. I've probably still got it. But it's where like I've been writing in the lesson, because you basically have to make notes and everything, because you just won't remember it because you're so tired. So the lecture or whatever lessons you're being told, you're writing down your notepad, literally writing everything. But like where I'm writing it, it's just scribbles. It's like where I've nodded off. So like I'm trying to write a sentence and I've nodded off, and you just see my words, it's just kind of gone like that across, and it doesn't make any sense trying to read it afterwards. But half the time you didn't even realise it. And there was one time actually I was that tired that like my brain tricked me. I was like my brain imprinted an image of what I was looking at to kind of trick me, to make me think that I was still awake, but I wasn't, because I got beasted, and they were like, yeah, wake up. And I was like, I wasn't sleeping, you were. And yeah, it went down that path. But yeah, so I think for me anyway, as an individual, I can't speak for everyone, for me the thing was just being so tired that it was difficult to kind of pay attention in the classes. That was it for me anyway. I struggled with the core history. I just didn't get it, to be honest. Like some guys, they love it and they research it, but I didn't. The military knowledge tests, I wasn't terribly good at that sort of thing either. I think I didn't really care as much as some people did. Like some people, they're really into it, and like I preferred the fitness aspect of it. So I remember all the fitness stuff. Like if I can literally remember the circuits and everything, which we did in 2005. I can remember pretty much every single workout we did, because it just sticks there for me. So it depends on the individual. You know, other guys, they don't care about the fitness, but they loved, you know, how the range of a mortar, or, you know, the effective range of an SA80, they loved it, but, you know, didn't really float my boat. I hope that answers your question, hope that helps. Michael, I've got a question for you. Right, thanks for patience. Oh, hang on, what have we got? Michael, when did you decide to become a beast? Thank you very much. Was it before the RM and the services, or was it natural extension of fitness as a teenager? I think I always wanted to get into some form of weight training. I think when I was a kid, you know, I used to like look at people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and action heroes like that. I used to love them. I used to love the action films. So I think ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to get quite muscular, to get strong, to be strong. I remember I used to arm wrestle people when I was in school. I used to love doing that, even when I was in primary school. I remember, like, you know, I'd watch the Karate Kid. The original Karate Kid would be on the TV when I was like probably about 5 or 6. No, maybe a little bit older than that, 10, something like that. And I'd go to my room afterwards and I'd be going, practicing my fly kicks and my punches, and do sit-ups and press-ups, and my mum was probably like, what's going on up there? But yeah, I think I've always wanted to. Probably quite an impressive age, I suppose. You know, back then all the action movies were massive. They're not so much anymore, like, you know, the big action heroes like Schwarzenegger. You don't really get people like that anymore. So it could have just been growing up in that time. But I would say I've always wanted to kind of do weight training, and I think the Marines was kind of like something I wanted to do as well, but it wasn't kind of the ultimate thing I wanted to do. It was there, and then things that, you know, I wanted to put. I left the Marines because I wanted to get bigger, because I found that with the Marines I'd get bigger, then I'd go on and exercise, and I'd lose all this weight again, and I'd be like, I find it really frustrating. Looking back, that's pathetic, and it's a pathetic reason for leaving, to be honest with you, because the ironic thing is I left the Marines, I lost even more weight because I went on a real bad patch. But anyway, you know, that's in the past. But yeah, I think yeah, the Marines helped it, but it's all a path, isn't it? It's, you know, you follow this path and you learn from it and you keep going. But yeah, from when I was a kid, I think that was when it started. Hope that answers the question. Right, sorry guys, I've got loads of questions here. Let me just scroll through to the top. I don't want to miss any ones. Michael, you said you had 2 questions. Let me just go. David, how tall and how heavy are you? I am 6 foot, on 183 centimeters, depending on what unit you want it in. And weight, last time I weighed myself, I was about 99 kilograms, I think. It fluctuates. I mean, sometimes it's weird that sometimes I'll weigh myself and I'm 97 kilograms, sometimes I'll weigh myself and I'm 104 kilograms. It's really weird. It just seems to go up and down. I think the last time I was stood on a scale, it was something like something like 98, 99 kilograms. It's not something I look at religiously. I tend to look at what, the mirror and things like that, or that's what I tend to look at anyway. But it tends to float around there, 97 to 104 kilograms. The heaviest I've been was, I can't remember in kilograms, it was literally I got to 17 stone for like a day. I was like, yes, I've got there. It took me so long to get there, but yeah, I wasn't there long. Sorry, a bit of casualty. Dropped my phone. Getting really excited then. Looks like I've broken my tripod. Let me just see if I can fix that. This is the beauty of live workouts, isn't it? Things like that happen. The tripod breaks whilst you're filming. Right, apologies. What an amateur mistake. Right, sorry about that. Hope it didn't scare anyone then. Right, here we go. Right, Michael, you've got another question. Okay. Okay, if so, what was psychological trigger? Did you discover you were good at it? I think I enjoyed it. I think that's what it was. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the results that I got from it, and I enjoyed what was happening as a result of it. That was the main one. Going through these questions. Okay. Okay. TG Frenchman. I have identical dumbbells. I have identical dumbbells I got 10 years ago. York dumb. They're the ones. Old school, proper old school. They are. I mean, they went through a phase where they had the grey silver ones, but yeah, they were all right. I did have loads of them. I went a bit nuts and I bought a load of them, but I did sell them eventually, and I've gone with the hex ones now because I think they're really good because you're limited with weight with these old school York ones. Michael, question 2: how are you coping with the current craziness plus long winter nights, plus colder weather, plus less sunlight? Yeah, I mean, current craziness. To be honest with you, mate, I'm actually enjoying the kind of. I'm an antisocial person. I can be a bit of a hermit if I want to. I can be sociable with people if I want to be, but I really like my own company, and I'm more than happy. I'm just seeing it as a break, to be honest. I'm seeing it as a break from everything because life was just getting so busy, and we've had a massive lockdown in the UK at the start of the year, March onwards for a few months. I enjoyed that because I was, people were just keeping away from me. I was able to just focus on my workout. My work sort of went down quite a fair bit back then. I think everyone kind of, unless you were emergency workers and things like that, everyone stopped working. So yeah, I mean, I had less work. I just saw it as a break. Sleep properly, try and get 7-8 hours sleep. I'm notorious. I don't get much sleep. I just say to people, you've got to eat properly, train properly, sleep properly. But I never sleep properly. It's something I've never done. But for me, it was nice to just go, right, look, I can go to bed 10, go to bed 11, 12, whatever. And I would just set my alarm, say, I'm going to get 8 hours sleep. No matter what time I go to bed, I'm going to get 8 hours sleep. And I would just, set my alarm for the next day because I didn't really have that many commitments. I'd go out and exercise and things like that. And I had family commitments and personal things I had to do and stuff going on I had to do, like essential things. But I wasn't, working the 40, 50, 60 hour weeks that I'd been doing previously. Anyway, so this time around we've got a lockdown here in Wales where I live 2 weeks, and we're about halfway through that now. And I'm seeing that as another break where I'm just gonna be like, right, this week I'm focusing on my training. And next week I got a little bit of work and stuff like that coming and going, but next week I've got I'm gonna be doing some more challenges. I've got a long list, so I've written things down. I'm gonna do some challenges. I'm gonna make some videos next week. So this week's for me, really. Next week it's gonna be for YouTube. It's gonna be for you guys as well. So if there's anything you want to see, pop it in the comment section, all right? Because next week I'm gonna have more time and I'm gonna be filming stuff. So just let me know what's going on there, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck in with that next week. Right, J Rolex, if you were limited to one, which would you choose, calisthenics or weightlifting? Oh, that's actually an excellent question. I like that one because I've done both. I've done just weightlifting and I've done just calisthenics, and I would probably go with weightlifting if I could do one or the other. And I think the reason why is because it's just easier to get a more kind of balanced approach. I do enjoy the calisthenics. It is good, it is fun, but I think you shouldn't, well, personally for me anyway, I wouldn't want to kind of just do one or the other because they complement each other so well. And there's movements where you get like dips. I love the dip exercise where you do dips, parallel bar dips. I love them, brilliant exercise. Then that'd be a calisthenic exercise. But if you add weights to it, it becomes a brilliant exercise. You can add weights to it, but it's such a versatile movement. You can do it with gymnastic rings. I've got a set of gymnastic rings here. And I went through this whole summer of these a few years ago, 2010, I think it was 2009 actually, sorry. For the entire summer, all I did was train with gymnastic rings. I got a tree, I was so poor, I had no money, and couldn't afford a gym membership. So I just found a tree, and I stuck a metal bar up in the tree, and I got the 2 gymnastic rings, I hung them from the tree, and I just trained on that all summer. My triceps were really good. My abs have never been so good as they were in that summer. But my legs were terribly weak. I didn't have the strength, which I think you can only get that strength from doing some kind of weight bearing training. You can do pistol squats, and you can do Bulgarian split squats, body weight squats till the cows come home. It's good for endurance, but you'll never get that size and strength. Unlikely to get that size and strength, or so easily to get that size and strength as you can with heavier weights. You don't necessarily have to do heavy weights. Like I've enjoyed this summer, where the lockdown, I keep going on about this lockdown, but it is a big thing. It's, all the gyms closed. I haven't been to a proper gym since March. So I was able to keep my leg strength up, my leg size up by doing hill walking and by getting my backpack and filling it up with weights. Because, this squat rack's quite new. I haven't had it that long. And so that's what I would do. I just find a hill up, put weights in my backpack, and I would just walk up this hill. And then every kind of few weeks, I put an extra weight in there, walk up the hill. So I think, you've got to see them as tools, really, that you can use, and you use them for whatever it is you want to do. None of them's really better than the other. It's better for what you want to do. And I would say if you limit yourself between the two of them, unless you particularly wanted to be a power lifter or something, then of course you're going to pick weightlifting. But for general fitness, for anything else really, tap into each one, pick the best from each one. So you've got really good calisthenic exercises. Basic exercises like the press up, that's one of my favourite exercises. I just think that's one of the best exercises you can do. I would pick press up over bench press any day of the week, because I think they're more versatile. But then, I wouldn't want to take away a back squat from my program, because I think that is a good one. It's difficult to replace that with a calisthenics exercise. So I would say upper body, you could probably get away with, if you want like a muscle building and things like that, you could probably have a pretty good physique with just calisthenics, pull-ups, press-ups, dips, handstand press-ups, stuff like that. Planks, your core exercises, be brilliant. Hanging leg raises, things like that. Yeah, plenty you can do. With legs, it's, it does become a little bit of a story. You can still do it, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm just saying you'd be silly to pick one or the other. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, I am a lover of kind of mixing things up as well. Like if you follow my channel for a while, you see I just change things. Like, at one point I was just swimming. At one point I was just doing calisthenics. At one point I was just doing weightlifting. At one point I was just trying to put on weight. Everyone's different, and everyone's got to program things differently depending on the goal that you have at the time. That is the most important thing. Thank you for that question. Let me just try and find the questions again. Sorry guys, it kind of scrolls all the way to the bottom. There probably is a way to stop this from happening. Right, here we go. So yeah, thank you for that. Right, we got Bro Chacho. Max, are you a political person? Would you initiate training programs for kids or young adults and lobby members of Parliament for support? Do you have any thoughts about the US election? I to be honest, I'm not really that political. There was a time when I was, but I'm a bit more kind of like, I will look at who's doing it, and I like to see people as if I think they're a leader. Most of the people on the political scene, I don't believe in at all. Like I looked at them, the last election in the UK, I looked at the candidates, I looked at the parties, and I just didn't believe in any of them. And I was just kind of like, none of them really, I don't feel represent people. I don't feel they represent me. I don't think they've got a clue what's going on, with working class people. I don't believe that. I might be wrong, but that's my opinion on the matter. And I respect other people who've got different opinions. That's fine, and that's what this is all about. But the US election, I'll be honest with you, I don't really think it's any of my business. I'm not American. I don't live in America. I don't think it'd be fair for me to comment on who should be the leader of that country. I don't think I know enough about American politics, to be honest. You're part of what we see on the TV, and I rarely watch the TV, so I know that there's an election coming up soon. But all I want to say is, I've got a lot of American friends, and I've met a lot of American friends over the years, particularly when I was in the military as well. I served with the Americans, so I just hope that whatever happens is, it's just the best for my friends and for everyone over in America, because I do have a lot of respect for you as a country. Okay. Initiate training programs with kids or young adults and lobby members of parliament support. Yeah, I'd love to do that, to be honest with you. I would absolutely love to do it. I remember a few years ago, I did try and contact the NHS and things like that. I said, look, I've got training programs, things like that. If you want to give to people, young people who are struggling with drugs and alcohol, stuff like that. They didn't get back to me, but yeah, the thought was there. But yeah, no, I wouldn't mind doing that if I can help people out with training programs. And I post free training programs on my channel. I give workouts, and I say, look, guys, follow my workouts if you want to do it. I don't charge for, unless somebody comes to me and says, Max, I want a specific training program for me, and it's going to take me a few hours or days or whatever to come up with something. I'll charge people, but I try and keep things free. I try and keep things simple. So it's all there. I basically log a lot of my training on here as well, a lot of my workouts as well, and I just think people can just access it and they can just copy it, they can follow it, they can work upon it, they can adapt it to suit them. It makes me happy, it keeps me happy. If I just help one or two people or more people, I just feel like I'm really happy with that. And that's why I like to put these videos out. That's why I like to put some random workouts of me in a park doing a set of burpees or whatever, or doing some sit-ups or whatever I'm doing. I just put it up there because I think, at some point over the years that's going to be on the channel. Somebody might do that workout. It might just be the case of somebody's look at that and go, do you know what? I'm going to get out of bed today and I'm going to just do a session. I'm going to train hard, or whatever you want to do, and just give it a go, and just not feel bad or worry about if you can't do something or if you fail at something. Just dust yourself up and give it another go, give it another try. But yeah, that's kind of my reasoning behind it all. Thank you so much for that question. Karthik Rams, what prompted you to join the Royal Marines and why did you leave? I think it goes back to when I was a kid. I do seem to remember reading in the newspaper about somebody who completed the training. They'd done it was 30 weeks back then. I think it's a little bit longer now, 32 when I did it, and I think it's 33 or 34 now. Or it was a little bit more now, because they've got this extra 4-week thing, haven't they, which I don't know anything about. I saw that and I thought, do you know what? I wouldn't mind doing that one day. In fact, I didn't think that. I thought, do you know what? I will do that one day. That is exactly what I thought. And I've got this thing with me when I can picture things that I want and I actually visualize. I don't know if it's a psychic thing or if it's law of attraction or whatever, but I've from that young age then I saw myself in the swamps, in the woods, going through the muddy streams and things like that. I saw that at that young age. So that was kind of the moment for me, and it kind of stayed there. It was it was back there somewhere. It felt at the back of my mind, and I went off and I was in a punk band and I got into that sort of thing, skateboarding, stuff like that. I really enjoyed doing all that. And then I think when I was about 17, something literally overnight just went bong, just completely changed, and I went, right, that's it, I'm joining the Marines now. I just went off to go and do it. So yeah, that was the story behind that. When did I leave? Grass was green on the other side. I wanted to go off and make a load of money doing private security. That was what I wanted to do. I did that in the end, actually. Yeah, I did go off and do that, but it was a tough year. 2009 was a tough year. 2010 was a long year. 2011, half of that was a bad year as well, but then I ended up doing what I wanted to do then in 2011, 2012, and it was great. Thank you for that question. All right, Simon, good evening to you. How do you cope with an injury or illness? Now, that's a really good question, actually, because I was quite ill about a month or two ago, actually, and I just try and rest. As soon as the kind of initial onset appears of an illness or an injury, you just need to be able to recognise it, because if you don't recognise it and you keep going, then it just gets worse. So it's just trying to find that, excuse me, just trying to be able to recognise it and then put strategies in place to be able to stop it from getting worse and then find a way to recover from it. So if it's an illness, for example, say if I start feeling myself getting under the weather, usually that is kind of, it's too late at that point. The bug's already kind of getting you. But as soon as I kind of feel that, I just eat as much fruit as I can. I try and rest as much as I can, and I try and just take away as much stress as I can in my life as I can. Sometimes it's not always possible. You know, it seems to happen when you've got a busy week in work, you've got all this going on, you're moving house, you know, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, and then suddenly then you're like, oh crap, I'm ill. You know, and you can't rest. But if you're able to, try and rest as much as you can, as much time in bed as you can. Don't train. It's just stupid. There's no point training if you're really ill. If you got the flu or whatever, there's just no point. You're not going to perform. You make yourself worse. You're going to be ill for longer, and you're going to lose more gains because you're ill for longer. I made this mistake back in 2016, I think it was. I was in one of the best shapes of my life, and I was doing this thing. I was working for the emergency services at the time, and I was working shifts, and I was training like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning some days. And then I remember this one shift, it was one day I finished work at 1 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, went straight to the gym, and I was working out, starting my warm-up, which consisted of, at the time, just walking on a treadmill for a few minutes and then going on the stepper, you know, the Stairmaster stepper machine. And I started walking on that. I got like 2 minutes into my workout and I was panting, I was weak, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was like, oh my God, I feel weak. I went over to do some pull-ups, I managed about 3. And I was like, do you know what, there's something not right here. Anyway, I went home then shortly afterwards, and yeah, lo and behold, then I was really ill. I think I had pneumonia or something like that, but I was in bed for a week and I lost so much weight and I was in a real bad way. But yeah, it's just being able to recognise it and be able to say, right, look, okay, take that break, take that little bit of extra sleep if you need it, take the day off. You're not going to lose all your gains if you miss one session anyway, but if you're in bed for a week, 2 weeks, or worse, you end up in hospital, you know, when you're not eating properly, because that was the thing with me, I couldn't eat. I was sweating, I was hot and cold, and I couldn't eat properly, and I was coughing all the time, and because my legs weren't moving, because I was just lying in bed, the muscles wasted just went. You know, it takes a few days just lying in bed for the muscles in your legs to just start wasting away. And coming back then, it was just like, I was so weak for weeks afterwards. Then I started building my training back up. It took me ages to recover from that. So it's just been able to recognise it. Also, I had an Achilles injury fairly recently. And that was from avoiding a flipping dog walker, because I was carrying a backpack full of weights, and this dog walker was running towards me. So I stood to sharply move to the side. I was wearing inappropriate footwear. I was wearing some running trainers, so I should have been wearing boots because of the ankle support. And I was on this kind of bit of rocky ground. Went on the old, must have been the ankle or something. My Achilles tendon, I think, must have caught it, but that caused me problems. But what I did then was I just went home and I rested it. And I had ice baths every day. I slept with compression tights on. I didn't train for a while, but then when I did start training, after a few days, I just started building it back up. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to rest it initially. Like, you should first go and see a doctor, all right? Don't take this as medical advice. So I'm going to say what I've done. I can't give you medical advice. I can't treat or diagnose injuries. I just need to say that there. That's all I'm going to talk about what I did. It was I rested it for a few days, and then I gradually built it up. So I looked at the activities I was doing that could have caused it, and a lot of those would impact injuries. So things like running, doing anything with jumping movements, I avoided them completely because I knew that they would cause problems. I still don't do them so much now anyway, because for me, having to run or having to jump, it's just not it's not a priority for me in my training. I don't need to do it. So I took them out of my training. You might actually notice there's a stage in my videos where I was doing burpees with jumps when I was doing a lot of circuit training a few months ago, and then suddenly I stopped doing them. And that's the reason why. It's because I realised I didn't need to do the jump, because I don't care about being, you know, I don't need to do that. I don't care about running fast, but I would rather put strength and size on, because my goal at the time was to carry a piano up the mountain. And so I just thought, well, being able to run and do burpees with a jump is not really going to be that beneficial for carrying a heavy object up a mountain. But carrying the piano up the mountain puts a lot of strain on the Achilles tendon, because the angle the foot's at, it puts it under a lot of strain. So I focused my training on that, because the risk to reward for doing the jump in those exercises was just too high, really. So you just need to be able to look at it like that and be able to recognise you've got something going on with you, and take the time there to let your body heal. And obviously, you know, if you think it's that bad, you'll go and see a doctor as well. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much, Simon. Okay, Sorush, are there opportunities to learn boat skills in the overall Marines? Of course there is, definitely. 100% there is, because you are amphibious soldiers. So you are, you're on the ships. I spent a lot of time on boats in the Marines, actually. We spent a lot of time on the ships, and we spent a lot of time on the boats. And the type of boats we were using were Zodiacs, which were like inflatable boats that we pump up. And the good thing about those was they would drop us off in a helicopter. When I was out in Iraq, they'd drop us in a helicopter, and then we'd go in the darkness and we'd pump the boats up, and then we'd put the engines on and we'd go off and do our thing. But then we'd also use more kind of rigid inflated ribs, rigid hold inflatable boats, so they're a bit faster, a bit sturdier, and there's these little Zodiacs which were kind of designed for sort of covert ops and things like that. Whereas the ribs, they would be on the side of the ship, so we'd use them for maritime operations. But we also had offshore raiding craft as well, so they were a bit bigger, and they had armament, kind of like ballistic shields, and you could attach a GPMG on the front of them. So yeah, loads of different boats. Now you can actually become an LC and actually be in charge of these boats and become a driver, a coxswain. You'll be able to drive these boats. So yeah, definitely if you're interested in boats and learning boats, 100%, because you will be really good as well. Because these guys who go off become LCs, that's the landing craft, but that's kind of the trades name, specialization, the word I'm looking for, is the LC, Lima Charlie. They are really, really good. So you can go off and do that course if that's something you're interested in. Okay, I try and eat more than 3 meals, but I mostly have 1 or 2 because my family situation, I'm a poor family, but after 2 meals I snack. Yeah, I know, I relate there, man. I relate with you. The thing I would say then is you just need to, if you are doing that, you can go off and just buy, a tin of tuna. So like tuna is relatively cheap, or you've got to look at affordable sources. You can buy rice. You buy a kilo of rice for like quite cheap. I think I get it for about 45p it is for a kilo of rice, and that'll last a few days. So it is just trying to look at what you can do within a budget, and I think that is the important thing. It's you can buy all the expensive protein shakes under the sun if you wanted to, or you can just really strip it back and say, look, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna buy, the bog standard version of everything, the cheapest version of everything. Sometimes you're just paying for fancy labels anyway, fancy packaging. And if you look at the back of it, you look at the nutritional information of the really expensive thing and then the cheap one, and half the time they're exactly the same, or there's not much difference. But yeah, I would just say, you got to do what's affordable for you. You don't have to spend loads and loads of money. Like, I'm not a rich person. I've never been particularly rich, but I was still trying to find ways to do it. But obviously your personal circumstances are going to be different to mine. I think you just got to do the best you can with what you can do. Okay, Roger. So which diet would make you stronger? Working out, a progressive overload, a normal carbohydrate diet, or on keto or with vegetables? Both the same amount of calories and same amount of protein. I say 3,000 calories. Personally, I would go with the normal carbohydrate diet. Again, I'm not a dietitian, but I would say from my perspective, from my experience, the carbohydrate I do believe is important for you, for the muscles, and also your brain's preferred source of energy as well. But I'm not saying, you still want to be healthy, so you still want to have your vegetables, you still want to, have your protein, your balanced diet. I would say that was important, is try and get a good balance between your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates. And just try and get as much kind of natural stuff in there as you can. So you're getting your nuts, you're getting your seeds, you're getting different types of vegetables and fruits and beans and things like that as well. I would say look at that personally anyway. But I would say the best thing to do would be to give them a try. Do a little experiment with yourself. Pick those 3 different diets. Do say a few months on one of them, a couple of months on keto, a couple of months on carbohydrates, and just see how you respond to it. Everyone's different, and like for me, for example, I tried a no carb diet once, and I did not like it at all. I hated it, and I did not like what it did to me. I was grumpy, I was miserable, I was moody, I wasn't strong in the gym, and so for me, that just wasn't what I wanted. Like, I don't want that. I'm happy to have a little bit of extra fat on me, but still enjoy my life and still, achieve what I want to achieve in the gym, and not just in the gym, because there's more to life than just the gym. Achieve things outside of the gym as well, and be able to function, with a busy job that that I've had. Hope that helps you, but I would just say give it a try, Roger. Just see how you respond to it, and if it works for you, go for it. Continue with that, and just let me know. Just drop me a message in the comments and just say, look, I've tried this, and that's how you learn. Is you experiment things, you try things, you give it a go, and you never know unless you try it. So yeah, 100% man, give it a go. Thanks for that question. Okay, so you're 15 and doing calisthenics. Been wondering if I should start lifting weight because I'm just scared to break my growths. I don't think you'll have any problems, mate. If you just want to gradually build up, as long as you don't go bananas. But the important thing is you're using good technique. Focus on your body weight exercises is good for a foundation. So at your age, I would say, yeah, do circuit training. Press ups, pull ups, sit ups, planks, squats, running. I would say definitely do that. If you want to add weight, just do those sort of movements. So it would be like dips. It would be like maybe get a weighted squat with a dumbbell in your hand, but don't go nuts. You don't go, because you might be losing form and things like that. But just gradually build up to it. It's all progressive. Start off there, build your foundation, just gradually build up. 100%, mate. Universe 6 hit. Hello. What would your advice be for shoulder health? My right shoulder has started clicking for some time and I want to know what I can do to fix it. Minimal pain, but it clicks when I raise it above my arm. Right, mate. I'm not going to be able to answer that question, mate. I don't know is the answer for you. I'm not a physician. I'm not qualified to be able to kind of to tell you what to do there. I wouldn't want to say something to you just for the sake of saying something to you, which I think might be helpful, but it can make you worse. Do you know what I mean? I'm not qualified to do that. Get it looked at, mate. That's all I can say. I wouldn't want to give you the wrong advice and cause you any more problems, because it sounds like you've got some kind of, if you're getting pains there, you got to be careful with that, mate. If you do the wrong thing, it can make it worse. But I do wish you the best with that, and I hope that, hope you do get it sorted. Sorry, I can't help anymore with that one. Hang on a second, guys. Right. Oh, I've got one here now. Ilya Avramov. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat there. That means a massive thing for me. Can you join the SBS or SES if you wear glasses, contact lenses? Oh, I feel so bad. I don't know. I'm really sorry. I don't know. I guess I think you probably could, but I really don't know. I think it depends on. It does. You do have to do eyesight tests. So and when they do a test for the eyesight, then you do it with your glasses and without the glasses or contact lenses, and then you're allowed some kind of criteria, some kind of leeway of to how much you have on it. It would depend on you, really. It depends on kind of what what your eyesight is like with and without, because you get two kind of scores. So you get like with and aided. So without glasses and with glasses. So you've got to be able to kind of achieve a certain score on each one. I imagine, as long as you reach the threshold on each one, then you should be fine. But that one, I feel really badly about this question, and you set a super chat to ask me as well. But I think you best direct that one to the Armed Forces Careers Office with that. Sorry, but I won't be able to answer that properly. I do hope that helps. Right, anything to note about the RMR from Tom? I've worked with a couple of RMR guys, and they were decent fellas. They were good, and they seem to enjoy it. I know a lot of people in the reserves, and it works for them. It works for their lifestyle. You'll get the nickname of Rubber Dagger, but do some tests, and if you want to, if you might have a good civilian job, you might have a family, different scenario to them. If it works for you, give it a go, and and you can certainly enjoy it. TG Frenchman, have you ever considered SFSG SF? I did. SFSG was quite a new unit when I was in, and I did consider it, but I think what happened, that was kind of like when I first started, and by the time it got to the point where I would have potentially been a candidate for it if I had been that way inclined, I was on my way out anyway. I'd already made my decision that I was only going to do the 4 years or 4.5 years. So yeah, it was a consideration, but the consideration didn't really result in me taking any action to go down that road. Do I regret that? Not really, no. But I know some guys who did go down that road and they absolutely loved it. They got some real good action doing that. So if it's something you're interested in, give it a go. Okay, do 2 to 5 hours in the gym, feeling very fit, so just relying on gaining muscle to get heavier, but to gain muscle. That's a good way to gain it, is muscle. I would say if you're going to put weight on, try and put it on with muscle as well, because otherwise, you might get fat. Do I have children? No, I don't have any children. I can never pronounce your name. Is it Nikos? Nico? Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but no, thanks for the question. I don't have any children. Tom, my pleasure, my man, my pleasure. Thank you so much for asking a question, and thank you so much for watching. I do very much appreciate it. Oz BBSE, do you think I could still use a hydraulic rowing machine, or should I get these new ones? I've got absolutely no idea what a hydraulic rowing machine is. Is it like a, when you say rowing machine, is it like a Concept 2 rower, one of those, like a row, or do you mean like a muscle strength, like bodybuilding type row? I mean, if it's got resistance, I can't see there being anything wrong with it. But you know, I'd have to know a little bit more about it. I'd probably have to have a go on it, or see what you're talking about, and then get you to explain what you're trying to achieve from using it, and then look at the alternatives for me to be able to say, no, that's better than that one. I don't quite know what a hydraulic rowing machine is, I'm afraid. But if you want to just put in the comments, just explain it a little bit more, and I'll happily revisit that question. Thank you so much for that. Right. Oh, Natasha Lucard. Thank you so much for the compliment there. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, Michael, thank you so much. You've answered that question about the rower there. But yeah, if you're talking about hydraulic rowing, if the rowing Concept 2 is pretty much the standard, like you say there. So thank you so much for that. I would definitely go with the Concept 2. Sam Quirk, what is your next challenge? Well, I've got a couple of little ones penciled in for next week. I got a few little ideas. So I do like little challenges, and then I do big challenges. And the big challenges I tend to train for. Little challenges, they're a bit of fun really. So they're like the military fitness tests and stuff like that. I just do a bit of fun. I don't tend to train for them. Although, like I said, I have been challenged to redo the Gurkha test, which I did a few weeks ago. I didn't do terribly well on the sit-ups or the 800-meter run. I missed it by like a couple of seconds. So the other ones, the other criteria of that test, I found quite easy. But what I will do is I'll revisit that in a few weeks' time, and I will do a little bit of training for that one because I've been challenged to do it, and it's always nice to kind of do fail something and then give it a go in it and then pass it. So my last big challenge was carrying the piano up the mountain. The one before that, the big challenge was the towing the car for the marathon. So the next one is going to be a big one for me, and I have been challenged to carry the piano up somewhere even higher, so I might do that, and that's going to be way in the future because of the current situation. There's a couple that I'm thinking about doing, but I'm going to keep them quiet for the time being because I need to make sure that I'm actually going to be able to do them before I start saying, oh, you're going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I've got a couple of big ones coming up and a few little ones. I've got a bit of scrap paper, I've got a couple of pull-up workouts I want to show you, a couple of pull-up challenges I want to show you, a few bodyweight challenges I want to show you as well. So that's going to be good. A few people have said, can I do some more bar bending videos as well? So I might look to get a bigger bar, a thicker steel bar, and see if I can do that. But yeah, put something in the comments below if there's something you particularly want to see, because next week I've got quite a bit of time when I'm looking to do some challenges. All right, so pop the if there's something you want to see, just let me know and I'll do my best to give it a go next week. Thank you, Sam. So you walk to the Ranger, you walk to the gym, it's 3.6 miles, walk back. Is that good for the legs? Well, of course it's good for the legs. Yeah, walking is brilliant for the body and the mind. But if you're looking to build legs, no, unless you're walking up a gigantic hill every time. Walking for me is just kind of, it should be the minimum. That should be your literal minimum that you do. Like if you're on a day off, you're not doing any form of training or whatever, walking should be kind of the minimum that you do because it's really good for you. It's good for you, just keeping your joints nice and move well, keeping your posture, keeping your mind going quite well, keeping your lungs moving, breathing because you've got to get fresh air when you're outside. But I wouldn't say use it as a building muscle or strength exercise. If you wanted to increase your cardiovascular ability, you could run it. You could try and sprint it even, or you could even put a backpack on, a little bit of weight in, not too much, just a little bit of weight. You could do that. But I would say you're in the gym and you want to build your legs. You're in the gym. Use the stuff in the gym. Use your leg press. Use your squat rack. Build up, start off low, gradually build up with a process called progressive overload. Very important that you adhere to that. So you focus on your technique. So the first, with regards to strength gains and things like that, the first kind of bit is neuromuscular. So if you imagine I get you in the gym now and we do a new exercise. Squats is the new exercise. So we put some weight on a bar, we start doing squats. You're going to be a bit weak at first, you're going to be a little bit shaky, your technique might not be quite there. So we'll work on your technique. We'll get your technique there. Once your technique is there, then we'll start putting weight on. But what will happen then is your weight, your strength is suddenly going to go, oh, it's going to jump up. The reason why it does that is because your brain and your body just gets more efficient at doing that movement. So it doesn't actually get stronger. The muscles don't actually get stronger. They do eventually, but once it's getting that initial neuromuscular pathway going, become more efficient. And then once you've done that, which is why you need to focus on lightweight and technique at that point there, because if you just suddenly start putting loads of weight on before that happens, you start doing it incorrectly. What happens then? It takes you a few hundred repetitions to perfect the technique and get in the right position to do it. But if you're doing it incorrectly because you've just gone all gung-ho with the weight, so your body now learns the cheat rep as the correct rep, you're doing it wrong, and you're going to gradually, and you're going to keep doing it wrong. What will happen then is you'll get to a point where you'll go, I can't progress with the weight. Or you'll get to the point where you go, I'm injured. It doesn't feel right. You look at yourself, somebody says you're doing it wrong, whatever the exercise is. But then you've got to relearn that exercise. So whereas it took you a few hundred reps to learn it, and if you just spent the time the first time doing it properly and learning it properly, a few hundred reps, it would now take you a few thousand reps for you to be able to program your brain and your muscles to go, that's the wrong one, this is the right one. It takes you thousands of repetitions to do that. So get it right the first time, gradually build it up, have patience, and just get involved with it. Just gradually build it up. That's the most important thing. I went on a bit of a tangent then. You asked me about walking, but keep walking, 100% keep walking. But if you want to build your legs, easiest way to do it is resistance training. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but that is the easiest way to do it. I hope that helps. Okay, did you do any sports when I was in the Royal Marines? No, I absolutely hate sports. I'm terrible at sports. Oh, hang on. Did I play rugby? I played rugby once, actually, against Saudi Arabia. Well, not actually, the country Saudi Arabia. We were on a ship and we were sailing along towards the Gulf somewhere. And we stopped off for Saudi Arabia, and they're like, right, okay, we're going to play Jeddah, which is a city in Saudi Arabia. And they were just like, oh, we need a team, blah, 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 blah. Pick a load of guys. And I was like, yeah, I'll play. No Welsh, I'll play. So they were like, yeah, get yourself amongst it. And yeah, we had a good game, and it was all right. But to be honest, I'm not much of a sports person, and anything with the word ball in it, I am just bad at. So football, basketball, volleyball, terrible. I remember there's plenty of opportunities to play sport in the Marines, and some guys love it, and they'll rope you in as best they can, usually every Wednesday. Now, me, I'd be trying to hide, you know what I mean? The guy would be like, oh, guys, we're playing volleyball. I would just suddenly be like, I'd vanish. But eventually then they'd be like, they grab me, come on, we've got to play volleyball. But, we'd be playing it indoors. I'd be like, wait, bang, trying to go for it. Next thing you know, I'm smashing lights in the gym. Oh, no, you don't want to put me anywhere near a ball. I'm terrible at the game. So, plenty of opportunity there. I didn't want to play in it. I would rather have gone to the gym and done something there. Football was kind of the main thing. But if there'd be more kind of emphasis on like certain other sports, maybe like weightlifting or something like that, like giving that a go. But it was mainly just football, a little bit of rugby, and a few other bits and bobs. But to be honest, I'm a bit more of a lone wolf, and I do like to do my own thing. So I probably wouldn't have joined in any teams. I know at one point they tried to rope me in the boxing team, and I did actually say I'll do it, but something happened, and operationally wise, and I didn't actually get to go and do it, which is probably for the best, really. But I think it'd have been a really good experience, actually. But thank you so much. No, thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. Which unit were you in the Marines? It's called 4-3 now. It was FPG when I was in. I think it's a little bit different now, but we would do the boardings and things like that. And quite a lot to do there, actually, because you do the boardings, you look after the nuclear weapons. And that was all right, actually. It was okay. I didn't like the convoys. You'd have to do convoys up and down the country. What else we do? But then we got attached to 529 Assault Squadron as well for a little bit as well, because we went to Iraq, we went with them. We got attached into some army regiments as well. So I was always based at FPG, but I got really weird it was. They just seemed to attach me to other units or other regiments to go and do whatever for a few months, and then come back, and I'd always go back there or go and leave. It was really good, actually, to be honest with you, because I was in S Squadron at the time, which were like little small teams, we were like 6-man teams, and we just go off around the world doing whatever different jobs. And we were on 24 hours notice. We had to sign a form that basically say we were on 24 hours notice. and then you'd be home one day and they just call you up, be like, right, oh, we're going to Middle East now, we're going to Dubai, we're going to Iraq, we're going to, wherever you're going to go. It was just pretty cool, actually. It was quite a cool time. We had a little credit card as well, so like, if we could just jump on a plane and get a hotel, straight away we were there. So it was a real good time, actually, to do that. Particularly, I was like 19, 20, great, we had the credit card. Oh, amazing. Incredible. Hope that helps you. Billy Boots, you're what candidates look at when prepping your tutorial medical. So, thank you so much. I appreciate that, mate. That's such a nice compliment. Thank you. What was my role in the RM punk band? Yeah, punk band. Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. Yeah. You believe it or not, obviously I haven't got much hair anymore, but I had a proper Mohican as well back in those days. Yeah, sorry, I forgot there's a question there. My role in the RM, I was general duties. I kind of explained this in the last question, actually. I've just realised I was general duties Marine, and I was able to stay at that for 4 years, because normally they try and ping you to go and do something else after 2 years. So I kept putting extensions in to do that, because I was like, I was enjoying it. I was getting to see the world. I had good friends, and I was getting to go to the gym, and I was getting to do my fitness. I was getting plenty of leave as well. So yeah, I enjoyed that. So as part of a small team that would go around the world doing whatever they wanted us to do at the time. So it would range from security taskings, all to doing covert stuff out in operational environments. Thank you for that question. Excuse me, let's get some water. Before I answer any more, focus a bit dry on these live streams. That'll teach me, because I haven't been doing enough of them, have I? I've been letting you guys down, and we've not been connecting for a while. So let me know if you want me to keep doing these sort of things. So how do I? Is this from CFC the Zoren 4? I do like trying to say people's names, so let me know if I'm saying them wrong, because it's always a good laugh when I say them incorrectly. How do you prevent injuries from overtraining? I love running, but I injured my foot last week because I ran too much. I can't really tell if I'm overtraining because I just love running. Massive. No, you know what? That's 100% accurate. That is, because you love doing it, so you just do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and then at some point, then you injure yourself, and then that's when you realize you can't do the thing you love anymore, and you're like, oh my god. All I can say with that, mate, that just comes down to experience. I've been there. I have been there. Trust me, I got into a phase where I loved squatting so much. I've had it with running as well. Don't know if I've had it with running, but I'm going to go with the story about squatting, because this is quite pertinent now, and I really got into squatting. I was doing it so much all the time. 4 times a week I was squatting weights, and I was getting heavier and heavier. I was getting stronger and stronger. What started happening was I started seeing the results, and I don't know if you've ever done high repetition squats before with heavy weights. It's really hard. So it would get to the point where like I was dreading my workouts, because I was like, oh, I loved it, but like every single workout, and I knew the weight was going to get heavier, and like I would go in there and I would literally be on my ass, like, because I was training so hard. But anyway, one day I went there. I wasn't in the correct state of mind. I had been out drinking the night before. No, I'd been out drinking 2 nights before, but then I'd worked a long shift the day before, something. I wasn't properly hydrated, and I went there, and it was a hot day, and I hadn't warmed up properly. I wasn't ready. Went and trained to try and get some personal bests on these squats, and yeah, something blew up at the back of my head, and yeah, I couldn't train or do anything that raised my blood pressure for about 6 months. So I realized then that had I just been a bit more sensible in my approach to training, I wouldn't have had to take the 6 months off training. And I mean, I couldn't do anything for 6 months. I couldn't, if I just stood up like that quickly, it would go again, and it would be like a reset. I'd start off from scratch again. So it just got to the point where I had to have brain scans and things like that, and big CT scans where you stick you in the machine. So it just comes down to experience. You've injured yourself now from overtraining, but all I can say now is once you do recover, once you get back to running, which you will, once your foot recovers, you just need to be able to look at it, kind of like, and be able to say to yourself, right, okay, I do enjoy it, but if I just take a little break from it every now and then, or if I periodize my training so that you do some weeks where you build it up, and then you take a little bit of time off, and then you build it up again, or you have more breaks scheduled in, or you do something alternative like swimming or something lower impact, then you'll know that you'll actually be able to do what you want to do for a longer period of time. So just think of it like that. You can do what you want to do for this time, or you can just slow it down a little bit and then do it for this time. And I think that just comes out of experience. That you come from injuring yourself and then looking at yourself and going, right, okay, how do I keep going but at this for as long a period as you can if it's something you enjoy doing. But that's all I say on that matter there. Hope that helps, mate. Liam, hi matey, how are you? Simon, absolute pleasure. Universal 6 hit, though, my pleasure for the response. Sorry I couldn't give you better help. Ranger, I've always wanted to join military for the 4 years of trying. It's been one step forward and one step back. Sounds like you're treading water, mate. All I can say is keep going, and if it's what you want to do, keep focusing on it. Just keep doing your best, and life's not easy. It happens like that. It happens like it. So all the time, it's hard. You see something you want, and then something happens, and there's a knock. It knocks you back down. You just got to keep going, keep focusing on that one thing, and just saying to yourself, if that's what you want to do, you just got to put things in place to be able to do it. And it takes some guys. Some guys are lucky; they get it straight away. Sometimes luck's not on your side, and sometimes it just takes you a little bit longer. But just keep at it. Just think of it like a train. Think of it like you're on a train and you're going. And sometimes this train journey just goes straight there and you get your destination. Other times you've got to get a stop off on the way and you've got to change, and then the train breaks down, and then you've got to get off, and then you've got to wait at the station then for a few weeks or a few hours or whatever, and then you got to go and catch another train then to take you to the other side of the country, and you go around, and it just happens, and it's just life. But you've just got to deal with it and just keep positive, keep focused on what it is you want to achieve. But good luck with it, mate. Ben, can you get flights paid? Can you get flights paid YouTube training? I believe so. Yeah. I think it's certain amounts of times. Yeah. But I can't speak for current times. But I know when I was in, I got a rail card. If that makes sense. Like it was like a rail pass. And it would be like from my home station, the nearest train station to me, to Livingston Commando. Might be something similar with the planes. I don't know. I imagine there'll be something. But I guess it depends where you're coming from. If you're coming from Australia or something, they might not do. If you're flying from Southampton to Exeter or something like that, then it might. I'm sure they might be able to really subsidise it, but definitely ask them that question. Ask the careers officer that question. It'd be best people to help you with that. Hope that helps, Ben. Chris, hey Max, what unit were you in, and did you go on any tours? Did I go on any tours? I went to Iraq, 2006. Little stop off in Iraq 2007, and then we did Operation Telic, which was Iraq again in 2008. But that was more the maritime side of it. So the first 2006 we were on the ground, and then the second one was we were on the ground again, but not for so long. And then the third one, then we were on the ships and looking after like the oil platforms that are up by there, and also doing the boarding and searching boats and things like that. And it was quite fun with that. I actually enjoyed that. But we also went on little kind of interdiction operations as well. So like you go out for 2 or 3 months. It was called Operation Kalash, and you go out and you kind of just board ships out in the Gulf of Aden and things like that, and just search for drugs or terrorists or whatever. To be honest with you, it was really quiet. I think it depends on who's in charge. Like the ship we were on that time, they just didn't seem that interested in doing much. So it was quite a quiet time, which went on got some search fishing boats really. To be honest with you, nothing really to write home about, and it wasn't terribly memorable operation at all. Thanks, Chris. Right, Ben, can you go to 4-7 Commando straight from training? I don't quite know what 4-7 Commando is, so I'm sorry. I do apologise for my ignorance there. I don't know what 4-7 Commando is. Is that the Special Forces Reserve? If it is, I don't think you can. Mr. Farr, hi Max, congratulations on your piano challenge. Was there ever a point where you thought, what am I doing? Yeah. Not in the actual challenge. When I got the actual challenge, I knew exactly what I was doing. Building up to the challenge, there was a few times when it was, because it wasn't easy, things didn't go right. I mean, I think the logistics before the actual challenge were harder than doing the actual challenge. So by the time I got there and I had it on my back, it was, I had planned everything. I planned every eventuality and I knew what I was doing. And all it was just put one foot step in front of the other. I had a great bunch of people with me. I had some real good friends who came along and they helped me and they supported me throughout. And, I would never have got myself there, got them there, and said to the charity that I was going to do this for them and then not do it. So I had to do it, and there was no way I was going to fail that challenge. So on the day, there was no point where I thought I can't do this. No point whatsoever did that cross my mind. There was a few cases beforehand where, like, I've had to move house. I've had it's been a story. The piano, for example, it's been in a storage container. It's just been back and forth. I've had problems. I've had things going on in my personal life and stuff like that. When I thought, what the hell am I doing? Why am I, why am I wasting my time doing this? I did those feelings. Those do pop up every now and then when things aren't going right, when things aren't going your way. And then the day before as well, I said to my girlfriend Nez, I said, look, could we just go for a drive up there, just to, so I can just look at the route in my head, because I had the route in my head. We've done a bit of recce, a bit of reconnaissance beforehand, back in the summer, because I was looking for mountains to do it on, and there was a couple of ideas I had, and I like to do things properly, so I like to get permission. I like to make sure I'm doing it. I'm not breaking any laws or anything like that when I'm doing them, or not putting anyone at risk when I'm doing them. So I had looked at options in the Brecon Beacons and in other parts of the country. Because we were in the middle of the pandemic as well, I went, right, no, I need to go somewhere closer to home. I need to, so I picked the mountain by me because it's the closest one to me. And like I said, I've been challenged to do another one in the future, which I might look into when things improve. But anyway, so I said to my girlfriend, let's go for a check of the route. And I kind of defeated myself there. We went around this route, and I thought it was a lot steeper than I remember it being. And I kind of looked at it and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I kind of doubted myself. And what didn't help was I'd been quite ill for about 2 weeks before that. I caught a cold. I thought it was, I had to get tested for the obvious. I had to self-isolate for a few days as well. And I was like, oh no, I can't believe this. I've literally been training for this for ages. And now I can't do it. But, it turns out it was a negative test, and I had to then, try and just rest as much as I could. I had this training program in my mind that I was going to do for 2 weeks before. I had to blitz it. And then I didn't do it. I just went, I can't do this training program, because I had this position where I was in, where I knew I had the strength, that I built the foundation from the previous training I've been doing. So I had the foundation strength, but then it kind of went, it's touch and go now. If I start hammering this training and I get myself iller, because I was only just recovering from it when I actually did the challenge. So like I was, in that week beforehand, a few days beforehand, I really kind of doubted what I was doing, and I thought, I'm just going to make a fool of myself. But then as soon as we got up there, as soon as that day came, I just knew it was going to happen, and at no point, there was no doubt in my mind at any point that I was not going to be able to achieve it. And I was back to where I had been previously to it. So mind's a very powerful thing. You just got to have a word with yourself sometimes, and that's what I did. I've got this this thing I do. It's before like something like that, when I feel like I'm defeating myself, there's like this thing I can do to myself, and it just worked. It worked wonders for me at that time. Thank you, Mr. Fart. Sam, thank you very much, my man. Thank you so much. Big Dunks, great video. I was wondering when you were going to come, Big Dunks. Yes, 100%, going to be doing the Murph, right? And you're going to think I'm just full of excuses now, mate, because you've asked me this about a bazillion times. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to collate when I do make the video, I'm going to collate the amount of times you've asked me to do it, and I'm going to say, Big Dunks, this is for you. I am 100%, so I've got a really itchy nose today for some reason. I am 100% going to do the Murph. I'm definitely going to do it. The only thing I haven't got, and I've said it before, is I haven't got the weighted vest yet, and I need to get that. I need to invest in it. The reason I haven't done it yet is because, the reason I haven't invested in it yet is because I'm cheap. That's why I don't like to spend any money on stuff. But I mean, I could put it in a backpack and a dumbbell, but I wanted to do it properly. I wanted to do a proper, good video. I wanted to go out and about. I wanted to go to an outdoor gym, which I think they're all closed by me at the moment. I wanted to get a good video, and I think this is why I haven't done it yet, because I want to make a good video out of it. I want to get a good thing for it. I want to do it justice. I know you want it, and I know you've asked for it probably about 10 times now. But I don't want to just do a Mickey Mouse one. I don't want to just, a little pull-ups, a little press-ups, I'm going for a run. I want to make a good video. And I think that's it. I can be a bit of a perfectionist when I want to be. And that is 100%, it's on the list. There's a couple on the list which have been there for a while. I'm just waiting for the time to be right for me to do them justice, really. Because the Murph, it's quite a symbolic thing, isn't it? It's to commemorate, a fallen US soldier, and I don't want to just do it just for the sake of doing it. I want to be able to do it and go, right, okay, dedicate this video to Inuit soldiers who've lost their lives and do a good video of it. And that's the reason why I'm taking my time with it. I also wanted to do a good job on it as well, because I went through a phase I wasn't doing pull-ups for a while, so I didn't have access to a pull-up bar. But as you can see, I've got a bar right behind me there, so I should be able to smoke that challenge very soon. But yeah, big dunks. The 9th, I have not forgotten the Murph. It's coming up soon. Harold Stephen, do you get to choose a commander unit? Do you get to choose the commander unit, or do they choose for you? And can I join if I live in Wales, or would I have to move to England? No, Harold, when you complete training, there's only one place where you do your training. That's a CTC, which you're probably aware of. That's in England. Now, it's part of the British Armed Forces, so you live in Wales, but Wales is part of Britain. So you'll have people from Wales, you'll have people from Scotland, you'll have people from England, Northern Ireland. You'll even get people from Commonwealth countries as well. So you might have a few like Australians, you might have a few people from like South Africa, Ireland, they might be there as well. So you get loads of people from different places. We had a couple of Fijians as well when I was in training. But what will happen is when you complete your training, or just when you get towards the end of it, like towards your King Squad, and you've done everything, and all you've got to do left is your parades and the drill and admin and stuff like that. On the last week, they will just sort of say, look, where do you want to go? And you'll put where you want to go on the list. And I think they asked for like top 3. So it was like they give you first choice, second choice, third choice, and then what they would do then is they look at what everyone else is wanting to go to, and they look at where they need people as well. So they'll try and get you your top 1, but like if you pick say 40 commando or whatever is your first one, but so is everyone else, and then put in 4-2 commando need guys, then if you pick 4-2 as your second one, they might go, right, okay, we'll put him in 4-2 because other people haven't even put 4-2 in the list, so they put as a third one. So if you're kind of happy with 4-2, then they might move you there. So yeah, being in Wales, you absolutely can join as well. There'll be plenty of Welsh guys. Well, I think there was 2 Welsh guys on my troop when I joined up. And you'll probably be called Taff, or I'd be aware of that. Thanks for the question. Okay, Ranger, I do leg training. I have strong legs, but only do it 1 or 2 times a week because I don't want to tear anything. That's fine. You don't need to do it more than twice a week, mate. I would say that's fine. One more question from Big Dunks. We've all seen it work as ladies. Do you need some help from any of the lads with those? Yeah. Well, if I do anything again, maybe I will put something up on a post to say I'm doing it. Yeah, they're fun workouts, good videos, good laugh. At the moment, I can't really do any of them because we've got to keep the 2 meters distance between people, and at the moment we can't leave the house in Wales. But we can leave the house, but only for like exercise, to go for a walk or whatever, or go to the shop. So not going to happen for a while. Probably not going to happen until this is over. But I still got some ideas and stuff I want to do. But at the moment, most of the videos are just going to be of me, or just going to be old videos that I haven't posted before, or different camera angles, things like that. Because I've literally got a laptop full of footage, and sometimes I look at it and think, well, nobody's looking at these, so let me just pop it up. And that's where you might find every now and then a little random video just pop up, and you look at it and think, oh, sure, I've seen this, or I've seen something similar, or Max looks 5 years younger there. Then that's why. It's just because I might be deleting it from my laptop or something, and I think, well, I'll just save it up on here. But yeah, I will keep you posted if there's any more workouts like that. Roosh. There we go. Thank you so much. Oh, Scotland. I love Scotland. I was just saying to my girlfriend the other day actually that I would love to be able to go for a road trip up to Scotland right now. Whereabouts in Scotland are you? Massive fan of Scotland. Was based up there for some time, and went there last year for my birthday, and I think the year before for my birthday as well. I went up to Ben Nevis. We made a video with Lois, my friend Lois Loves Fitness. She's on YouTube if you want to check her out. We went to Ben Nevis, and then last year I took my mum up to Loch Ness. Wouldn't mind going again this year, but unfortunately we are not allowed to. Okay, I'm a type of person who could be in the middle of the ocean and still get hit by a car. Curse or bad karma, yeah, sounds like it. So I'd like to see that actually. Buster Blader, thank you so much for being positive and nice for the community. No, thank you so much. And I really am glad that we've all been able to have a good gym wag on here tonight. Actually, I wasn't really sure because I know it's been a while since I connected. I thought maybe people have forgotten, or they might not have there's been a few people who've been subscribed and have been viewing my channel for a while. I recognise their names, and it's just been great. And it was great to see people commenting. It's great to see people talking, and I always love it when I see people's names. I do remember people's names as well. Like, I may not know your personal name, but your screen name. And I do get a bit confused when some people change their name sometimes. I'm like, oh, sounds like that person, but is it that person? But no, it's really great to see people on there, and yeah, thank you so much for that. I was arranging, okay, I was bound to fly to France to join the French Foreign Legion on the 1st of November, but my flight was cancelled due to quarantine. Wow, that's amazing. Apart from, not the fact that it was cancelled, but the fact that you're going off to join that, it's always been something that the French Foreign Legion is something that it's always been a bit alluring, isn't it? I think, because you don't know much about it, and it's, it's just, it's kind of like a really secretive thing. People want to know about them though, and I've bumped into a few Legionnaires out and about in Djibouti in Africa. There's a big French Foreign Legion base up there. Well, there was in 2006 when I went there anyway. And yeah, there was this guy. I just remember this guy with a massive scar on his face like that, and he was stood in uniform, real smart, stood in uniform out in Djibouti, and he was a massive scar on his face, and you just looking at me, think, wonder what his story is. You just think to yourself, I wonder what that scar was from. But yeah, no, all the best with it. I know it's been cancelled. It seems to be happening to a lot of people at the moment. They're getting cancelled. But all I can say is, it'll come back. If you want to do it, it'll come back. You just keep trying at it, and I'm sure you'll have a good time when you do it. And maybe not a good time, but you'll be able to look back in years to come. And 10 years time, you'll look back and you go, oh my God, you're in the French Foreign Legion. Who else has done that? I haven't done it. Loads of people haven't done that, but trust me that if you want to do it, mate, just go for it. And it's a knock, it's a delay. Maybe a few months ago, France are having a real tough time at the moment with lockdowns and things like that, aren't they? They've just got a national lockdown. But yeah, so see what happens on that one. But good luck with it. If you TG Frenchman, if you can want to say, don't feel obliged. Do you ever get into firefights? Did I ever get into firefights? Yeah, I mean, it was more, to be honest with you, the way it was out there, it was more kind of like sniper attacks over there anyway. So like what was happening is you'd just be there and random people would start shooting you, or there would be like mortars. So it's hard to explain because it wasn't like conventional kind of war like you see on TV. It wasn't like trenches or that. It wasn't like Afghanistan. It wasn't like that. It was literally just like mortars coming in all the time. So it's a bit rubbish really, because you just be sat there and you just hear and all that, or you hear the sirens going off there and you just have to take cover. There was a point when we got tasked to kind of, we get sent a grid reference, so like the rest of the base would be kind of like hiding. So they would, because the thing with mortars is they come in, so they go bang and they blow up there. But then there's a shrapnel that goes out like that, and they can literally shred anything up for meters. Well, you can stand 50 meters away and you just rip the shreds, even if you're wearing body armor. So the only way to really kind of get around that is to lie on the floor, or unless they started putting together like concrete kind of blockades and areas which you could hide behind. So if they were there, they were great. You'd lie on the floor behind them, like shelters and things like that. They started to get kind of wise as to what was happening, so they kind of block everything off. Even got to the point where not when I was there, we were in a flipping tent, but I know when I left, the guys were getting put in like sort of concrete blocks. We actually went and tested them actually with the Royal Engineers. We went out and we built up these kind of like metal breeze blocks. Like we got little breeze blocks basically. We tested them out. We put them all in a stack and we basically blew something up next to it, blew a mortar up next to it, just to see if it would destroy it. And it turned out it was fine. So after we tested it, they were able to then sort of create kind of like bedrooms within tents, but they would just be stacks and stacks of breeze blocks, so that if a mortar went into the tent previously, like our tent, if the mortar got in the tent, it would have killed all of us. But if this would, as you come in, bang, and unless you were so unlucky and landed directly on your bed, you'd be fine, or you might get a couple of injuries, or maybe damage eardrum or whatever, but you wouldn't kill 50 guys or whatever. So that's what they were doing there. So that was what we had, which is mortars and snipers and IEDs, and that was it really. Even though a lot of the stuff we were doing was like covert, so because we were such a small team, we would be like doing more kind of reconnaissance and observations and stuff like that. So we'd be sneak going to areas in the dark and spying, whatever you want to call it, you know, observing what was going on. And then we would radio in to, you know, another unit or whatever, or another part of our patrol to go and intercept or whatever. We would do various different things, but it wasn't like the sort of thing you see on TV, like, you know, like Black Hawk Down or whatever like that. It wasn't like a war movie. It wasn't like that at all. Asymmetric warfare is what they were calling it back in the day, but that's what it was. Irish Army, we have to do 40 days self-isolation in a hotel. Can't afford that. Can't go island. Yeah, I can imagine that's gonna be expensive to sit in a hotel 14 days, isn't it? Especially if you're not earning the money. Do I believe it's real? I do. I don't really want to get discussing too much stuff like that on here for a couple of reasons. One, YouTube just doesn't like it when you start talking about things like conspiracy theories, and I know talking about COVID-19 is a key word for them as well, because it's classed as a sensitive subject in their terms and conditions. So if we start talking about too much on here, then it might actually flag it, and they might start sort of, you know, hiding the thing or whatever. But especially if we start talking about conspiracy theories, things like that. But I do believe it's real. I know people in the science community, people I know personally who are studying it. I know people who've had it. I know a few people who've had it quite badly as well. And to be honest with you, the way I look at it is, if I can help somebody by just staying at home and not going around spreading anything or whatever, then I'm going to do that, just because I maybe there's a little chance that me by doing that is going to help somebody, then, you know, I'm going to do that. And I'm quite an antisocial person anyway. I've been practicing social distancing for the last 20 years, so I'm all right with it, really. But yeah, that's my opinion on that subject there. TG Frenchman, you can be given 4-7 commanders your first draft. However, it's very likely most new Marines now have drafted as CLR. 4-7 is the rarest one straight out of training. TG Frenchman, thank you so much for that. I think I answered that question incorrectly earlier. I didn't know much about that at all, so thank you so much for helping out there. I think that's what I like about this, is if people ask questions, I don't always know the answer to it, but somebody else tends to, and it's always good, always helpful. Always wanted to join the SES since I was 6 or 7, because my dad told me about them. I'm craving a job. No, that's not me, that's what Ranger said. Okay, Jimmy, I love watching your challenges, some aspiring ideas. How's life been for you after leaving the RM? Thank you very much, Jimmy, and I'm glad you enjoy watching the challenges. Well, it was the rough ride, I think, to begin with. 2009, 2010, as I said earlier, were not good years. I was left in quite a bad situation, and that was through my own fault. I'm not going to be one of the people who turns around and says it was the government's fault. I'm not going to be one of the people who turns around and says it's the military's fault. They should have done this, they should have done that. It was my fault, and I made some stupid decisions, and I had to accept the consequences of those decisions. So, don't get me wrong, they probably could support people better, but I know that the crap I had to deal with afterwards coming out was my own doing, and I was just in a fortunate position where I had, you know, family, like my mum was able to help me out a couple of times with, you know, keeping a roof over my head, and I had friends who gave me advice on what to be able to do, because I was in a lot of debt as well, and eventually then I was able to clear that debt and get out of that. And that was the problem really for me, was I left in a lot of debt. But leaving then as well, I've had some amazing experiences. I've worked in private security for a bit. I've had loads of crap jobs, so I had a few good jobs as well. And I just, you know, I've got qualified in other areas, experienced different things. I've worked for the emergency services. I've done anti-piracy work, was one of my favourite things that I've done. I've done modelling. I was a stripper for a bit. I've done quite a fair bit. But a lot of stuff I couldn't have done in there. And I think you do get very kind of like jammed into this little thing with Marines, and that's it. And I'm the sort of person who likes to kind of do different things and go off and be myself for a bit. I like the Marines, I like the guys, I like the team, but there were sometimes when I just had to go off by myself, and they took offence to that. They thought, you know, why doesn't he like us or whatever? But it was just that that's just me, and that's why I've had so many jobs, because I do it for like 2 or 3 years, and I go, well, I need to do something else now. This is holding me back, or it feels like it's strangling me almost, like I gotta go do something else. I think that's what I like about my YouTube channel, is I can just go, I'm going to do this now, it's my own thing. It's like this thing I've created that I just enjoy, and if I have an idea, I go, right, I'm going to put the idea into practice. And I think that's the thing I'm enjoying most, actually, really, about leaving, is I've created this channel, and I just, you know, I just get to do what I want, basically. And it's just good. and I really enjoy it. And it's good to hear back from people as well. So it's not just me in front of a camera jumping at myself. It's just nice to speak to people as well and have people come up to me and say, "Look, Max, I'm doing this as well." And I love it when people message me and say, "Look, I'm doing this. I've got this in mind. I've achieved this goal." It's just great, and it's really great to hear it. But I think this is probably one of the best things that's come about. Obviously now I've got a girlfriend at the moment as well, so it's quite a new relationship for me as well, which is the first time I've been in a relationship since I left the Marines as well. So things are a little bit different now than they were back then. But it's all positive things, I think, really, now the last few years. Please link me to your friend. Which friend is that? Sorry. The Trossach National Park. Right, okay, I'll bear that in mind. I will bear that in mind. Thank you so much. Been using it to train swimming pool because, yeah, do you know what? The cold water is great. I actually went for a swim up in Loch Ness as well, and I absolutely loved it. And it wasn't as cold as I thought, but it was one of those things where I was swimming out, and then like I got like halfway along, and I thought, "Do you know, I'm just gonna turn back round now." And then as I was swimming back, like all I could imagine was like a giant monster behind me, and I was like, if I turn around, there'd be something there, isn't it? Obviously there wasn't, but it's just the mind plays tricks. But it's great, great stuff. Beautiful seeing you up there. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. Like Mark Cole, who would win at a game of Halo? You, me, or Chris? Well, guys, I mean, it's fairly well documented that I am the self-proclaimed champion at Halo, so I don't think anyone could beat me at Halo or any other video game for that matter. Thanks for the question, Mark. Good to hear from you, fella. When are we working out together next, eh? Looking forward to that. For humanity, how do you become big? You need to increase your weight training, progressive overload, do weight training, sort of compound lifts, bench press, squats, deadlifts, things like that. Anything really that's going to challenge you. But you want to be looking at a rep range around about 10, 15 repetitions to really kind of grow the muscles. But you want to be doing it under control as well. So you don't want to be just going bang, bang, bang. You want to be doing nice controlled repetitions. So you've got a good amount of time under tension. But that will help you increase size. Hello. Right. I think that looks like I'm at the bottom of the list. Do I have Twitch? I don't have Twitch, no. I'm not very good with social media. I'm not going to lie. I've got an Instagram that I use every now and then when I remember. I've got a Facebook that, again, I use every now and then when I remember. I try not to spend too much time on Facebook because I just look at it and I just get, there's so much rubbish on there and I just feel like I'm wasting my time. So YouTube, I enjoy it. YouTube just seems to be positive. It's really good. Like, I've tried different social media. I've tried Reddit. I've tried Twitch. I've tried I've tried Twitter. And I've tried all these other ones. And it just seems to be so many idiots on there and so much negativity. But I go on YouTube and it's just great. There's just positive stuff and it's people on there. There's actual people and they're good people. You have a conversation with them and you have a laugh with them. You got a banter with them and there's some good videos on there. And what I like about the algorithm actually picks good videos for me to watch. So it's probably the social media I use, I'm afraid. Oh, I can't ask any questions about which is my favourite cat. That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down and will probably land me in a bit of trouble. Right. Thank you so much for all the questions, guys. I am going to leave it at that. I've been waffling on now for about an hour and 40 minutes, and I think a few people have dropped off now because there's only 5 people watching. There's quite a few watching earlier on. I think they've probably got bored of me, but I don't blame you. Thanks so much. If you've got any more questions, you've got about 5 seconds to write it because I will be pressing the X button. But those of you who have stayed with me throughout, those of you that ask questions, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I shall see you soon. Don't forget, leave a message in the comments below. What challenges you want me to do next? What challenges you want to see me do next week? I look forward to it. Thank you so much.